Hello, everybody. How you doing? It's the most wonderful time of the year, everybody. How you doing? Just want to say hi. Hopefully, everybody's doing all right. It's a great day for everybody. It's a great, I guess, a great way for us to really get into the holiday season. No, it's not cold here in Miami. I just decided to wear my USA Rugby jersey or sweater, the old school USA Rugby sweater. It's kind of an interesting one because from the story that I was told, the image of this one, this actual logo, was from it's owned by one particular individual, kind of how the NASL rights were owned back in the way by one Pepe Pintonia. Kind of that whole story as far as that's concerned. Um, anyways, what I really wanted to talk about today, I mean, it's a lot of things that are going on, a lot of things that are. Hello, everyone. How is your evening? I'm glad to have you here. Hopefully, everything's doing all right. I just want to wish you a very happy holiday. I hope that everything is doing great. Everything is excellent, and you guys really kick ass as far as gifts, as far as just being with family, being with everybody that really matters in this holiday season. So, best wishes to all of you. Shout out to everyone, especially those people that have been there since day one. Man, you guys are awesome. I love you all. You're tremendous. Thank you so much for being here, and obviously all the changes that are going on, and all the changes that are going on with me. I mean, I got a couple of things that are going to get started. Obviously, school's one of them. I'm going to go finally get whatever I had pending as far as a master's degree, get that done. Want to knock that out. Kind of be able to do a couple of things here and there with that, and you'll know what's going on. I'm also going to be expanding into other sports, expanding into other endeavors. So that'll be an interesting thing to be really looking at as far as that. Hello, everyone. How you doing? How you doing, everyone? Glad to have you here once again. Just here, let's take a chat. Why not? First of all, I just want to wish everybody Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, whatever you want to celebrate. I don't care as long as you have a good time. That's all I care about. To be quite honest with you, wearing here my USA Rugby sweater. Still hot, man. And trust me, yeah, I'm really having a hard time here trying to make things happen. But it's all good. It's all right because you know what? It's all about you guys because you're the ones that have helped me what little I've been able to do. It's that's you're the ones that are responsible for that. There's nobody else. There's no one else that I can really go and attribute that to, but you guys. I mean, it's just what it comes down to. You're the ones that read me. You're the ones that watch me. You're the ones that interact with me. So therefore, I have to owe a lot of gratitude to you guys. Okay. All right. Enough said about kissing your ass, but it's all good. Now, a couple of things have come up. A couple of people have talked about Abby Wambach. Look, whatever she said, hey man, everybody has a right to be happy, to be miserable, to be intelligent, and also to say a couple of things that really don't make sense. To be honest with you, if you've been in a position that's pretty much on the outside looking in, we've all been through that situation as far as that's concerned. We've heard many people say, well, you're not American enough. You're not American because of this. You're not American because of that. It is what it is, okay? Let's be honest. She's not famous because she is a Rhodes Scholar or anything along. She's famous because she's a football player, and sometimes football players say things that sometimes they might lament later on. Take it for what it is, man. I mean, really, there's no reason to get upset. Uh, it is what it is. They football players sometimes say that, and in the heat of the moment, they might say something that they're going to lament, and I think she is lamenting that right now. What else can we do? You hear it all the time on the street. You hear it all the time, especially if you're a Latino, especially if you are an American born abroad. You hear that all the time. So I mean, has that really changed? I don't want to make this just social because I'm about to step into another social issue in about a couple of minutes. So keep that in mind. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, each one's entitled to their opinion. Sometimes the opinion is not the most informed. Plain and simple. Now, yesterday I was getting a lot of people talking to me about what happened over at the town hall meeting when Tim Lewicki, and let me tell you something. What Beckham has done and what the Beckham Group has been able to do so far, being able to go out and talk to the community, make the effort at least to talk to the community, is 1,000 times more proactive than what the Marlins have done throughout the 20 plus years that they've been here. Let me be straight up with that because that is something that needs to be applauded for. They were prepared. Yeah, okay, fine. The presentation was not there. They only had 2 weeks to get it done. So let's be completely honest about that. There you can't get a sketch design of a stadium and put it in a certain area. It was just there to make it fit. The way Tim Lewicki was able to handle the questions, I think he did a good job. Understand? I mean, what people aren't understanding, especially if you're on the outside of Miami, even on the outside of Overtown in that area, is that the area has changed so much in the past 15, 20 years. I mean, it really has. The people, I mean, the issues that they were talking about yesterday were so black and white, and no pun intended, because they were black and white. I mean, you had one part of the community of Overtown talking about, hey, you know what? There's violence, there is crime, there is traffic issue. What is going to happen there? What are the promises that are going to be made? Because the city of Miami, not just in the past couple of years, but for decades have really let that community down in a very big way. So just by plopping something down, say, hey, take this, it's something that's really been taken in a bad way, but not to the Beckham Group. It was more to the politicians. And mind you, a lot of people are for it. I was talking to a lot of people at that town hall meeting. They're for it. They want that stadium there. The problem is that they don't trust the politicians. Plain and simple. Let's just call a spade a spade. The politicians down here in Miami have not been the most trustworthy group of individuals um, since forever. I mean, they really have given Miami that banana boat republic type of attitude and mentality that people around the country have looked at it as. So, I mean, when they say something, you kind of, even when I've spoken to some of the politicians, I kind of, yeah, I report it, but at the same time, I start looking at it. I'm like, I take this with a grain of salt, knowing where the source comes from. So yeah, I mean, it is something that I have my doubts with when a politician here in Miami says it. So mind you, that's one of the big issues that I have a major problem with. So keep that in mind as far as this is concerned. Um, I just want to let you know that. I want to let you know that that's the big problem. It's not the Beckham group. It's not them. It's not those guys because they're doing their part. They're doing whatever they can. It's the politicians that get involved in that whole issue, the ones that people are having problems with. That's the big issue. So I mean, try and understand the differences between one and the other, because I did have a lot of people dogging the people of Overtown for not wanting the stadium there, but understand their situation. I mean, Overtown was once one of the most affluent neighborhoods. It was one of the most popular vacation spots for many African Americans back in the 1920s and 1930s. I mean, it was Harlem down south. I mean, that was what made this neighborhood such a hot spot back during those days. And then the neighborhood really started being torn apart back in the 1950s, 1960s when the uh, construction of I-95 goes right across your neighborhood because of eminent domain. Think about that for a second. If your neighborhood all of a sudden gets intersected by a highway in the middle, what happens to that neighborhood? Well, that's exactly what happened with Overtown. And people really haven't gone and seen the history. I mean, it's been at the center of a lot of race riots down here in Miami. It's been the center of a lot of racial tension and has had that type of significance as far as the recent history. Maybe if you go back 20, 30 years ago, seeing what type of history that has had because a lot of the politicians, a lot of the community leaders have turned their back on that community. Therefore, you do see that there's a big problem there. Again, they're not against David Beckham. Nobody's against David Beckham's group down here in Miami. The thing is that when they got the backing of the politicians, that's where the big problem emerged. That's where the problems started to come because nobody trusts politicians down here, especially with what happened after the Marlins, because they came and they were promising everything under the sun. Jobs, prosperity, and trust me, I go to that neighborhood frequently, and the last thing you see are jobs and prosperity. You don't see that. So I mean, it goes beyond the issue of kicking a ball. It goes into more social ramifications that need to be observed and really need to be looked at. I mean, Overtown also right now is being, I mean, developers are just salivating at the prospect of being able to construct there. So many are looking at it as a first step towards the gentrification of that whole area. And some might say, well, we need to get the poor people out because they feel, they're too comfortable in poverty. Those that say that really have never been through poverty. Really have never been through not knowing where your next meal comes from. Let's be plain and simple about that. That's what happens, ladies and gentlemen. That's really the whole situation between what's going on here. They're afraid. There's people that are literally afraid of not knowing where they're going to go. It's not just Overtown, it's Liberty Square. There's a whole sector of Liberty City that's already been blocked off in order to build high rises. I mean, high rises down here, high rise construction down here in South Florida has gone crazy. If you come down here, you start seeing, the ones that are constructed and the ones that are to be constructed. It's absolute chaos right now. So, I mean, don't look at it as just a stadium issue. It's a stadium issue that could have a ripple effect throughout a community, and that's what's leading to a lot of fear, a lot of speculation, a lot of rumors, and a lot of other topics that need to be looked at and addressed, and they haven't. And that was the big problem. That was the big issue at that town hall meeting. So when people start criticizing, when people start looking at just the only, oh, well, it's soccer. No, 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 no. You have to look at it from a much deeper perspective because of the community we're talking about. And you know what? The differences were so vast, it was just funny to be hearing one group saying, hey, you know what? We have people getting shot in front of our house. We have, car accidents, 24, 25 car accidents in the span of a year right in front of our house because of the traffic signals, not having traffic light signals in our area or having just a stop sign to complement whatever is there. Meanwhile, the other ones are complaining, well, I don't want a stadium because my sun deck is going to not have enough sun during the day. White, black. Plain and simple. That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. And people want this to happen, but the people that are looking to make it happen aren't the most trustworthy people out there. Plain and simple. So those that have criticized me in the past about being anti Beckham or anti this or anti that, no, I just look at it from another perspective because I see that there's also a human portion that needs to be attended to. Some of these people don't care if the stadium is certified as a green stadium or anything like that, because a green stadium in your neighborhood doesn't pay your bills at home. It doesn't pay your rent. It doesn't put a roof over your head. It could, but usually stadiums don't do that unless there's a plan in place where those people will be able to get that type of revenue or that type of opportunity to work and be involved in the community, or have the stadium be involved in the community directly. Plain and simple. Black and white. You might not like it, but that's just the way it is. What can I tell you? Now, going on to FIFAGate real quick. I really wanted to get off because I have to have a couple of things to write over for Gazette World. So I just wanted to say, just to be there. It's a mess. Everybody knew it was happening. Everybody knew it was going to happen. I per se, I had lost a lot of faith. I thought that there was that was pretty much it. Nothing else was going to happen, and just me being impatient because the investigation was just taking too long to get those final pieces together. And on the opposite side, you saw some guys like Sergio Hadwe, like Luis Bedoya, and many others that got involved. For the Hawit, those types of people that, well, you know what? Investigation's done, and they were pretty arrogant about it, and were flying into the U.S. and thought they were not going to get caught until they finally did. And when they did, they started singing like a canary. Expect some major, major news in, I guess you could call it Return of the Jedi, I guess, trying to use a more Star Wars type of theme, I guess, as far as that's concerned, regarding part 3 of what's going to happen in this FIFA debacle, because that's pretty much what it is. And it's kind of surprising that not a lot of Europeans are getting involved into this, because of course, European football is just so clean and so pure. I mean, Michel Platini is just such a philanthropist, and so is Angel Maria Villar, and so is Infantino over in Italy, and of course so is Mr. Sepp Blatter, right? But anyways, guys, there will be a lot much more going on as far as FIFAgate is concerned. As far as, I had a question, I remember that right now. Who in CONMEBOL would be ready to lead? Dude, there's nobody. Look what's going on in Argentina. Brazil has no one right now that really can step up. The only one that I could really see, and is more by default than by actual qualifications, is Wilmer Valdez, the president of the Uruguayan FA. There's really no one else. I guess you could say Arturo Sala would be a good choice because he's running, or looking to run, to become Chilean FA president, the former Chilean national team coach, and he has the support of Marcelo Salas, but we'll see how that goes. But there's a lot of other speculations that can emerge. But right now, I don't see anybody. CONMEBOL is just that. But you know what? It's not those. In a way, it is kind of CONMEBOL's fault. You know why? Because after the passing of Julio Grondona, really nobody took over the mantle in a very positive light, or even in a positive manner. Nobody really stepped up, and that's all attributed to Grondona's legacy. Grondona was just that much of a micromanager because he didn't believe in the other people around him, that he had to micromanage everything from something as complex as TV rights to something as minute and insignificant as trying to order lunch at a board meeting over at CONMEBOL or AFA or any of those other federations that he had to join a particular meeting in. That's how much power Julio Grondona had. And nobody has been really able to take on that responsibility and really harness it, really understand it, and really have the influence that he had. And that's one of the things that we're seeing in this huge power vacuum, where when some of the major players were taken out, there's just nothing there. There is absolutely nothing left in CONMEBOL as far as leadership is concerned. So if you're from a certain nationality, you want to go and join Paraguay or Colombia, hey man, you might have a shot of becoming a president of the FA down in South America. Why not? We'll see. Guys, before I go, I just want to let you know that for you and also my friends over and my followers over at Periscope, I'm going to be doing a giveaway. Thank you to the guys over at Soccer Local. You guys have been tremendous. I know I've been a little bit slack as far as getting this done, but I want to have it done by the end of the year, be able to give a special gift to one of my followers as far as that's concerned. So make sure you're following here. I'm going to give you details in the next couple of days on Twitter so you know what's going on. I will announce it here on YouTube, so be able to watch it, check it out, And I will guarantee you, whatever you choose, you will not be disappointed because Soccer Loco has some really kick ass stuff. You're going to enjoy it. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Have a great Christmas, New Year, whatever you are going to celebrate. Do it. Do it safely. Do it with friends. Do it with whoever you want to do it with, which is all good with me. But be able to just enjoy and be grateful and be having a great time, man. I'll be, sending you all the shout outs and all the positive vibes and everything that I could possibly send to you is going your way, man. Guys, you are awesome. Thank you. Peace out.